Okay, now, new project, new lens. It's kind of an unboxing, but I already unboxed it. So let's take a look at it. Viltrox 15 millimeter f1.7e comes in a nice box as usual. Made in China. For with tax, it's $250. Okay. I used three types of lenses. Okay. So there's the 15 millimeter 1.7e. And let me focus it a little bit. Yeah, let's do this. All right. The Sigma 16 millimeter f1.4. And I used the 11 millimeter f1.8 from Sony. And you can compare the sizes. Let's go back over here. And let me stretch it out a little bit also. There we go. See? See how big it is? Look at the bottom of the lens hood. That's where the lens sits. And then if you look at 16 millimeter, okay, compared to, the 15 millimeter compared to 11 millimeter Sony, which is a 1.8, they're the same size, basically. I think the lens hood is a little bit bigger on the Sony, but they're actually the same size. They feel like the same weight. None of them have an aperture ring, okay, which I like. And, I guess you can program this, but I'll use it for focusing and stuff, for manual focusing. But what I want to show you is, look how small this camera is, in my hand. It's perfect. So let me show you some pictures that I took. All right, here we go. So if you look at it, if I do a Command I, I'll tell you exactly what lens I was using. The Sony E 15 millimeter 1.7, which is actually the Viltrox. Okay. This is all at 1.7, had everything in aperture priority mode. And I'm just going to scroll down here, but look at the sharpness of the picture quality. Yeah, it looks a little bit dark, but the sun was behind the clouds. I had it on auto white balance, but these pictures are sharp. Yeah, look at the detail. The camera's not heavy. It's light. Only has one SD card, okay? But look at that. Now you can see some of the sky, just, the little flaring from the sun into the clouds, what I thought was pretty spectacular. I'm scrolling, but all the pictures sharp. I got a little bit too close to the TV, so you can see what happens a little more, right? This is a video I was doing with the iPhone. And then I backed up, and you can see this is an OLED TV panel with the shades closed. You don't see the blinds. The blinds are right next to the monitor or to the TV. But look how sharp and clear the TV is with this lens. The house was dark. No lights were on. It was during the daytime. And you see, came out pretty good. Now, let's go back to here. This one, if I go down here, it's the 16 millimeter Sigma. So it says Sony E, all right? But that's the Sigma. So this is 16 millimeter. It's a little bit brighter. Guess it's a 1.4. Do you see? I see a little distortion on this lens compared to the 15 millimeter. Okay, look at that. Straight with the fence. There is a hill, so it does curve down. But look at this. So 16 millimeter is good most of the time, but look what it did with the clouds. It just was blown out at 1.4. And I think I put it at F13 or 14 right there. But just to show you the difference. Okay. And you see the picture looked better instead of 1.4 at F13. I think it was F13. Let's take a look real quick. Yeah. F16. All right. And no, the leaves are starting to pop up. So that means that it's time to mow the grass shortly. But you can still get some picturesque shots. See where all the limbs have fallen down. And I think this is a new lens. Yeah, this is 11 millimeter because it's wider. Yeah, that was 16. This is 11 millimeter now. But you see, this is a good lens also. .8 still brings in some light. Let's go outside. This is a lot better or a lot brighter than the 1.7 that I had on the Viltrox. But let's look at a little distortion. This is leaning this way. This one leans this way. I did not see it on the Viltrox. I didn't see any purple fringing either. And look at that. Okay. So that I will have to look to see if there's distortion, but you know, when I'm pointing the camera up to get look at the fence, it looks like it's going backwards. And then look at the shed. Okay. So you can see the distortion on the camera. And that's because it's not looking at it straight level. I'm pointing it up at a direction. This is more kind of like a straight level. But you see, even here, you can see a little distortion with 11 millimeter. And with the shed, it's not too bad, but this goes this way, this goes that way. You see, the grass is growing. So we go all the way back to the 15 millimeter. Trying to find a place where there's a little distortion. So TV goes out a little bit like that. But basically, I don't see much. It's just the way I was holding the camera. So let's see if there's any more. See, I'm looking at the frames, are pretty straight. Yeah, you see, I'm not getting that distortion look. It might go out, but it might have been the way I was holding the camera. I might have tilted toward the left when you get something like this. And there's maybe a little bit right here and right there. Okay. But I have a lot of angles, and then you can see the fence. Yeah, there is a little distortion right here and right there. Especially when I do portrait shots. That's on any lens. And of course, I said it was kind of dark. But I think it's less distortion than the 16 millimeter and the 11 millimeter. So let's go back to here. What do you think? Small lens, okay? Now, one thing I will say is I have a problem putting the lens hood on. So what I might do is just leave it like this, when I put it in the case. But I think I'm going to leave it on this camera. And if we get a closer look, and let's go like this, move it up here. There you have 15 millimeter, 1.8. So anyway, thank you for watching. Remember, stay safe, keep smiling, and I'll see you next time. Bye, folks. Have a wonderful day.